There are places that slip between the cracks of maps towns erased from memory, erased from time. You won't find them listed in atlases or printed in navigation systems. They don't appear in weather reports, nor are they ever mentioned in regional records. But every so often, their names surface in the tremor of an old man's voice, or a note left in a travel journal no one was meant to read. They exist only in fragments, a photograph with no coordinates, a letter that describes a church no one can find, a story about a road that leads somewhere that isn't supposed to exist. Velcroft was one of those places. It appeared occasionally in the wrong kind of conversations. A forgotten town, somewhere between the hills and the moorlands. People described it differently. Some said it was surrounded by fields of pale grass that never seemed to sway in the wind. Others swore it lay deep in a valley where fog gathered like water and never left. No record of it exists in any archive. No coordinates mark its position. It doesn't appear in census data, government directories, or any known survey. Even the most detailed military maps mark the region as vacant, an expanse of nothing. And yet people kept finding it. Not by intention, never by plan, always by accident. A driver who takes a wrong turn and finds himself on a dirt path lined with unfamiliar trees. A hiker who follows a sound, a faint bell, somewhere beyond the fog. A lost child who claims to have seen houses with no lights while walking home before dusk. Each story different, each ending the same. When they try to return, the road is gone. The path they followed the day before is no longer there. The terrain shifts, subtly a forest where open ground should be, or a stretch of field that suddenly ends in a ditch. No sign of the village, no sound of the bell, just silence. Authorities dismiss the stories as confusion, fatigue, even hysteria, but patterns began to form. Witnesses described similar details: the smell of burnt air, the distant hum of something electrical, and the sound of a church bell that didn't echo. One man claimed he found a mile marker with the name Velcroft engraved faintly into the stone, though when he returned days later, the marker was gone. Another swore he'd walked its streets narrow, uneven, lined with homes that looked lived in but empty, as though someone had just stepped away. He said there were lights in the windows, flickering like candlelight, though no candles burned inside. Then there were the letters. Dozens of them found in old mail routes dating back decades. All addressed to Velcroft. None ever delivered. Each written by someone who vanished. Whatever Velcroft was, it seemed to exist only when it wanted to. Those who claimed to see it spoke of a strange quiet, the kind that hums in your ears like the air itself is holding its breath. They said the sky always looked dimmer there, as if the sun avoided it. Time moved differently too. Watches stopped, batteries drained, and when the fog came down, no one could tell where the land ended and the air began. Velcroft was never destroyed because by all accounts it was never truly built. No records of its founding, no deeds, no maps. Just whispers and a name that refuses to disappear. And yet, every few years someone new claims to have found it. A cluster of homes beyond the mist. A bell tower rising above the fog. The faint sound of footsteps on cobblestone. Every account ends the same way. They follow the sound, they see the village. They step inside. Then nothing. The next morning, the road is empty again. No one remembers them leaving. And Velcroft goes quiet once more.